And we keep it rolling here on the College Football Show. And I have Big Al McMorty here with me. Al, how you doing this week?
Doing well. College football's been very entertaining this season. Of course, last week we had that overtime match between Penn State and Oregon. You had Alabama, Georgia. This week we got some big matchups as well. So it's been a really good start to the college football season. I've already loaded at Pickdawgz 10 college football plays, including my Big 12 game of the month. So it looks great this weekend, Jay.
I think so too. I got a pretty hefty card coming up this weekend too. It's probably gonna be my biggest weekend of college football action thus far this season. So I'm ready to attack it. I'm ready to try to make some money this weekend. And what we're looking at here for on the show.
Well, the first game I want to look at is an American Athletic Conference matchup. It's Army against UAB. Army's favored by 7 points here, and they defeated the Blazers last season by 34 points, 44-10. And last season in the AAC, Army went 9-0 straight up, 7-1-1 ATS. But 2025 has been a completely different story for the Black Knights. They've played 2 conference games already. They lost both of them to North Texas and also to East Carolina. And both of those opponents were playing with revenge from a loss last season to the Black Knights. And that's also the case this Saturday as the Blazers want to avenge their 44-10 loss. And Army has not been very good when playing opponents that play with revenge. Army is just 25-52 ATS in that situation. So I'm going to take the revenge-minded Blazers here plus the 7.
Big Al McMorty taking UAB against Army. Army's been a tough team to figure out all season long. Been a head-scratching team and just not a good team. Not the Army that they were over the past couple seasons. I don't want to be laying points with this team on the road either. So seems like a good spot for UAB to come in here and, like you say, get their revenge after getting blown out last season. What are we looking at next up here in college football this week?
Yeah, I'm going to look at my alma mater, the game they're playing this week. The Michigan Wolverines are playing Wisconsin. The game's in Ann Arbor. Michigan's favored by 17.5 points. The Badgers have been one of those teams over the years that does really well as underdogs versus really good teams. When you can get the Badgers at plus 6.5 or more points, and if their opponent has a 692 or better win percentage, Wisconsin has rolled to a 43-15-3 ATS mark. So that bodes well for the Badgers here. And then you also take a look at what Wisconsin did in its previous game. They lost to the Maryland Terrapins 27-10 as a 10-point home favorite. And Michigan is a terrible 5-20 ATS when playing an opponent off an upset loss by more than 7 points. So we're going to take Wisconsin to bounce back off that debacle, and we're going to grab the 17.5 with the Badgers.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I think Michigan is the better football team in this one, but sometimes, even this year, I know they got a good quarterback in Underwood. I have a problem laying extended numbers with Michigan, and it just doesn't feel like one of those spots where I would want to lay this big of a number. Again, it wouldn't shock me if they flooded them. They are the better football team on paper and on the field, but I kind of lean with you in this one as well. Just I like that hook on that 17. I ain't gonna lie. I like that hook.
It's a big number. It's a very big number.
Yes, it is. We'll see if Wisconsin can bounce back from looking terrible. I had them last week, not as a premium, but in a parlay, and they disappointed me mightily. So see if they bounce back this week. Al, we got like we discussed a second ago, a solid week of college football action coming up. You kind of already hinted at what you got going on this weekend, but let us know again what you got going on over Pick Dawgz Premium.
Yeah, I mean, I've got one play on Friday, 9 right now for Saturday. Probably will add a 10th, so it'll probably be an 11-play college football card. I might have one Canadian football game on Saturday. I haven't yet made my decision there. I'll have upwards of 10 NFL plays over the weekend as well. So it's a really good card. And, when you join over at Pick Dawgz, don't forget to use the code PICK to save 15% at checkout. And then we have our 2-for-1 and 3-for-1 handicapper specials as well.
Big Al McMorty, man. Appreciate you coming on the show. Appreciate having you. We'll see you on the NFL show, and we'll see you throughout the week here on the Pick Dawgz YouTube channel.
Thanks, Jay.
Yes, sir. And we keep it rolling here on the College Football Show. It's Ron the Don Romanelli here with me. What's happening, Ron? How we doing this week?
Hey, Jay, I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing all right. I need to see the board a little better. I'll be completely transparent. And I'm still scratching my wound from Georgia last week. But I'm ready to get back on the horse this week in college football and make some money. How you doing?
Yeah, me with Penn State as well. It was not my best week in college football last week after a few winning weeks in a row, especially on Saturday. So looking to bounce back as well, and I think it's a great card to do so. I see some great games on the board.
I think it's a good card as well, man. I do. I'm probably going to have my most games I've had all year in college football this week. Like, I've kind of gone lighter these last couple of weeks, like 4, 3. This week, man, I might have a pretty hefty card on Saturday.
Yeah, I had 5 last Saturday, but I've already got 7 so far, so, and I see a few more I might add as well. So definitely a good card.
Let's talk about it, man. What are we talking about here for the show?
Yeah, we got a big game here in the Big 12, Iowa State and Cincinnati. 5-0 Iowa State against a winning team in Cincinnati at 3-1. Listen, Iowa State's been very impressive this year, having that perfect record. They've got some solid wins on the resume. The neutral site game in week 0 over Kansas State, but as we know now, Kansas State not the team we expected going into the year, so maybe that win is a little bit less impressive. The win over Arizona last week at home, but really no big resume boosting victories. A lot of home wins, the neutral site win over K-State, but you look at the Cincinnati team, this is an offense I think is the real deal. They ran the ball unbelievable, 6.3 yards per carry, just under 200 rushing yards per game, but they've also averaged over 300 passing yards in each of the last 3 weeks. So this is a dual threat offense. And, Iowa State, it started the season strong against the run. They've started to struggle a bit in recent weeks. They gave up 160 rushing yards to a not so great rushing attack in Arkansas State, 4.5 yards per carry given up to Arizona last week. So I'm a little bit worried about this Iowa State defense, and even the offense has not been as explosive as you would think you would need to be in the Big 12, which we've seen has been one of the more high-scoring conferences in college football the last decade plus. So for me, I think this is a tough spot for Iowa State on the road. And then you add to the fact that Dante Corleone, the godfather, Dante Corleone, looks to be returning. He's trending in the right direction, Satterfield said, for Cincinnati. One of the best defensive linemen in this conference for Cincinnati. I think the Cincinnati defense is going to be good enough as well. I like Cincinnati in this one. I'll lay the 1.5 or take them on the money line.
Ron the Don Romanelli taking the Bearcats in this one. Right now, currently, I don't have major thoughts on this game personally. I think it's a tough one. I do have question marks, like you said, about Iowa State out on the road. Their only true road game was at Arkansas State. I didn't think they were that impressive in that game.
Yeah.
I know they played K-State, like you said, in Dublin. But that's not hostile environment. That's not the opposing team's fans yelling at you. That's neutral site fans. So, and K-State's not that great, as we now know. So I do think they'll kind of struggle here on the road a bit. The problem is when I look at the other side, Cincinnati, their only real tough home team they played this year was Nebraska, and they lost that game. So, and I do think Nebraska's a solid team. I like what Matt Rule and Dylan Raiola got going on over there. I think right now the line's exactly where it should be, so it's like.
Well, don't forget the big road win last time against Kansas. That's
a great win. That's a great win.
600 yards. I mean, this Cincinnati offense is getting exactly what it wants. And if Arkansas State can get 380 yards on your defense, I think that this Bearcat offense is going to do a lot of damage, especially at home.
That's fair. Not a lot of – I know a lot of people don't care about it, but you could also look at this game through the lens of the unranked team favored over the ranked team. Granted, they're at home in this one, and that's just a small piece of the puzzle that I'm adding to a bigger piece of the whole pie. Forced to play right here, right now, forced to lean to a side. I would agree with you, Cincinnati. Again, this is a game come Saturday with the card we have. Probably won't make my card, but I do think it's a really interesting game, and I will have my eyes on it come Saturday. Huge implications for the Big 12 for the remainder of the season. Mm-hmm. Y'all know that's my Big 12 is where my heart's at. My Longhorns in the SEC now, so I'm an SEC guy, but I still love my Big 12.
And your Longhorns are in trouble, by the way, this weekend in the
Oh,
swamp.
here you go. Do you want to talk about that a little bit? Do you?
No, we've already made mention it on the show a little bit, but yeah, I think it's going to be a tough spot for Texas. That's for sure.
Not fair. It's a game where I think we're going to learn a lot about both of those two teams. You know, they've both kind of came into the season a lot of hype. And, you know, at this current time of the season, I feel like a lot of that hype from both fan bases has kind of been sucked out. But a huge win for either one of them could easily put that right back in it, put the momentum right back on both programs. So,
yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the expectations for Florida were playoff, and they're not going to make it now with 3 losses already. But you can still turn the season around, like you said, and you know, it's been the case of trying to build momentum going into next year, last 5 years now for Florida. So that's not really good enough for this program. This program really expects the best of the best. But, you know, still, I mean, they play a really tough schedule. So if they can end the season somehow with 3-4 losses, it still, I think, would be a okay year if they can make a solid bowl. But like I said, nowadays in the SEC, it's playoff or bust for these types of programs.
fair. Huge game for my Longhorns, man. Arch got to take that next step. Will he do it in the swamp? Is the multi-million-dollar question. I think as of right now, nobody's scheduled to talk about that game. So if they don't, I'll talk about that one here later on.
There you go.
This show. So there you go. Ron, man, appreciate you coming on. Like we discussed at the beginning, a great card this weekend in college football. What you got going on over at Pickdawgz Premium this week?
Yes, so far, like I said, 7 college football premium plays locked in, but I'll probably have a few more as well. Got my play of the week, my blowout winner, SEC play of the week. So some big plays for me. Looking to bounce back from not our best Saturday last week, but overall, you know, our Saturdays have treated us well since week 0. You know, week 0 we started slow. We've done well since then, except last week. We'll bounce back today or on Saturday, and NFL, of course, on Sunday. Have a few plays locked up there. So check it out at Pickdawgz Premium.
Bummer Ron, the Don Romanelli, ladies and gentlemen. We appreciate you joining us here on this show, Ron. And we'll see you on the NFL show. And, of course, Major League Baseball playoffs in full swing. No better place to be for that than on the rundown. The Bank Shot Breakdown will be back before we know it. College basketball on the horizon. October's the best time of year.
I'm excited.
Appreciate you, Ron.
All righty.
And we keep it rolling here on the College Football Show. I got my man Jeremy here with us. Jeremy, we missed you last week, man. Glad to have you back. How you doing?
Yeah, man. Sorry I missed. We had a big concert festival planned, and I was trying to make it all work. And my wife's like, "It ain't working. We're going to the concert." So the boss told me what I was doing.
Hey, it be like that sometimes, man. It be like that sometimes. We're back at it this week. I think it's a really good college football card. I got the most plays this week in college than I've had all year on a single Saturday. So I'm really liking this card this week, and I'm ready to attack it, my man. I'm ready to attack it this weekend.
Yeah, I think this is one of those weeks where we're starting to learn more about these teams, and we still have a few teams, one of which we'll talk about in a bit, that haven't even gone on the road yet. You know, and you're seeing teams in their first road game and how they react. We're learning more about which teams can win on the road and how they match up. So I think this is just a really good weekend where we have a lot of information, and if you're using it right, could make some money.
Let's do it. Let's try to make some for the folk right here on this show. Where we headed to first?
We're going to go to Cincinnati as they host Iowa State. And, you know, it's interesting because I talk about this all the time when it comes down to college football and ranked teams going on the road and facing unranked teams and being underdogs. And we have 2 of those situations on Saturday, one being Louisville in Virginia, and this being the other one. The number 14 ranked team in the country goes on the road to face Cincinnati, and they're underdog. And some people are going to scratch their head and go, what is that? And sometimes the line just smells funny, right? And it doesn't seem right. But the one thing I would say is I feel like people go ahead and look at the top 25. They see those little numbers by the team and all of a sudden think, well, this is who they are. They're a top 25 team. That's just a bunch of cats that voted on it. I mean, the line's going to tell you everything you need to know. The algorithms are going to spit out what they spit out. And I just think this is a great spot for Cincinnati. And you can't even call it an upset because they're favored. I think they show up. I think they had this game circled. I like the Bearcats to win and cover.
Jeremy taking Cincinnati here in this one. Iowa State, good team, man. I talked about this one with Ron a little bit earlier on in the show. this is a huge game for the Big 12. Like, this game could change the entire landscape of the Big 12, flip it right on its head. Iowa State, huge win in Dublin, but that win looks kind of different today with how Kansas State has looked. This could be a huge spot for Cincinnati. They got the world to play for, and they're favored at home. We'll see if they can come out and get this one done.
Jay, I think Cincinnati's still kicking themselves for letting Nebraska come back on them in week 1, because I think people might look at this game a little bit differently had they won that game. Right. And how we look at Nebraska now is Michigan just beat the crap out of them. So I think this is one of those spots where, the home team, you're getting tremendous value with it. I think they're being undervalued by the public, especially. So I like the Bearcats.
Fair enough. Jeremy, taking Cincinnati here in the first game. Where are we headed to next, my man?
We're going to go to Texas A&M as they host Mississippi State, and this is what we were talking about. Mississippi State, they've looked good, but they've been at home the entire time, and you could talk about some of the teams they've faced, who's pushed them a little bit. Southern Miss pushed them for a half of football. Auburn, there's a couple different spots you could look at and how things came down, but now they get to go and play in one of the toughest places to play, College Station. So this is going to be one of those games where I feel like it's just going to start out ugly and it's still going to finish ugly. I think Texas A&M rolls here. You look at the spread and the fact that they're telling you have it at 15.5. The fact that it's above 2 touchdowns and it's been there all week, I think is telling me everything I need to know. I'm going to take Texas A&M. I love their quarterback play. I think their defense has been playing better. I think Mississippi State is going to have a problem stopping them.
I agree with a lot of everything you said, but I'm a pure Texas A&M hater, bro. And with that being said, I know this team is due to lay an egg. It's just who they are.
Yeah, I'm trying to learn where all your fandom is in Texas, man, because that's a big ass state, and I don't know where everything is quite yet. And we start it's like when you talk to New Yorkers, and it's like, are you Jets, Mets, or Yankees? Do you like the Knicks or the Nets? Who are your teams?
Man, I love my Longhorns, man. So I'm hating on the Aggies, and the Aggies, they have all the money in the world. They always got all the hype in the world, but just when you think you can trust them is when they come out and you can't trust them. And they got a good team this year. I'm not naive to that. They got a chance to make a special run because they don't really, their schedule doesn't get tough till later. They're kind of playing the middle of the pack and bottom of the pack of the SEC here right now. Mississippi State, like you said, they've had a good start to their season. But you take them outside of their home stadium, outside of the Cowbells. I am a little nervous for them. I'm still going to lean towards them. I'm going to lean towards Mississippi State. I don't trust A&M whatsoever laying a number like this. To me, 14-point win for A&M.
So, guys, don't listen to Jay drinking his haterade over there because that's all this is, just hating on Texas A&M. By the way, when they played Notre Dame, I was on Notre Dame. They showed me something in that game, and I've been talking – anybody to listen to me talking about Notre Dame's backfield because I think their backup back is better than Jeremiah Love. They have a two-headed monster, and for A&M to go in there and win that game says a lot to me because I do think Notre Dame's good, not necessarily great, but I think this A&M team, if they keep rolling, they'll have a chance to make some noise.
They will. And we'll lay an egg just when all y'all get the trust. We'll see. Jeremy, man, we just broke down 2 games for us here on this show, but I know where to find your favorite games, the ones you got the most money on, and those are over at Pickdawgz Premium. What you got going on over there this weekend, my man?
Yeah, man, I've been trying to tell anybody to listen to me. I'm on one of those heaters. I'm up 30 units with my concrete inner circle, and on the premium side at pickdawgz.com, I've got a ton of plays up. More college football games than I usually have. But I do have a 5-pack up if that interests you and a couple other plays that go along with it. I'm hitting over 65% in the NFL, and it's just been a really good week and kind of getting back on track and try to get yourself ahead. So I'm looking forward to this weekend because I see a lot that I like on Saturday and Sunday.
Hop on with Jeremy, ladies and gentlemen, and continue to kick the crap out of the books. We appreciate you coming on this week, Jeremy. We'll see you on the NFL show and every day on the Lowdown. And you also do another college football show, an NFL show with Mark Zeno, Top Dogs. that everybody should check out as well.
Yeah, and I pop on the morning show if anybody's ever heard of it on Monday and Friday.
Check it out, man. Come spend some time with us. Jeremy, appreciate you more than you know. Look forward to seeing you throughout the week, and let's make some money this weekend.
Thanks, man.
And we keep it rolling here on the College Football Show. I got the franchise player with me. Chris, what's happening? How you doing this week, my man?
Doing well, Jay. Yeah, I feel I'm really locked in on this week's college football cards, so ready to break it down with you, ready to make everybody some money, and have a good weekend.
I'm same. We're on the same page and right on the same accord on that note. I think it's a really good card this week. Really good card. Where are we headed to? What are we looking at here for the show?
One of my favorite traditions during college football season is these matchup between service academies, and I'm going to Air Force and Navy. And last year, it was all Navy. It was 34-7, but I'm thinking we see a high-scoring game here. Now, for me, traditionally, unders and service academy games have been borderline money. I mean, these have been my games of the year sometimes have been under in Navy Army, Air Force Navy, but Air Force, since Liam Zarkis took over, he's supposed to be the next great option quarterback. This offense for Air Force has been rolling 30-plus points in, I believe, every one of their games this season, but the defense has also given up a ton of points, 42-plus in 3 straight games. That's going to be problematic here against Navy, who still run an option offense of their own with that added aspect of the passing game from Blake Horvath. But I also think Air Force is going to be able to put up some points here against Navy. Like I said, their offense has been greatly improved from what we saw last season. The thing is, though, is that Air Force was my game of the month last year, and they could not stop a nosebleed against Hawaii, and I just don't know how they're going to get stops against Navy. So if I had to pick a side, I would lean towards Navy in this one, but I think one of the best plays of the week, my best free plays of the week, is taking the over 53 in Air Force Navy.
Fair enough, Chris. Taking the over between the service academies. Hey, you don't hear those two words put together all that often, but I watched a good amount of Air Force Hawaii last week, and like you said, Hawaii moved the football very effectively. Air Force kind of, they moved the football effectively in that one as well, and I don't really see much of that changing in this one either. I think I could see some points being put up here in this one as well. 53 as a total in this game. It's kind of crazy. Breaks your ears up.
Yeah, it definitely jumped off the page. I was like, I'm used to seeing 33, 35 totals, but 53, it just tells me that we're not the only ones who have seen these offenses improve. It's not just a gimmick anymore. These two teams can score points, and like I said, that's why I like the over here.
Fair enough. What you got going on this week over at Pickdawgz Premier?
Yeah, like I said, I feel like I'm seeing the college football board really well this weekend. Going to have my play of the day locked in. Definitely something that you guys want to make sure that you check out. You can also check out a long-term pass. I'm going to have daily packages, but a lot of times with how high volume we go for these college football cards on Saturday, the 3-day and 7-day passes are actually the better deal. They get you all the plays on Saturday. They get you the full NFL card on Sunday. And if you get a week, now you're dabbling into opening week NHL action as well. So make sure that you check that out. Jump on board with me and pair me up with Jay or any of the other great cappers at the website. Remember to use that promo code PICK at checkout and get 15% off your purchase.
Hop on with Chris. Ladies and gentlemen, continue to kick the crap out of the books. Chris, I appreciate you joining me here on this show. We'll check out the breakdown where you cover 6 or 7. 6, 7. I had to, sorry. Games of the week in college football. And, of course, individual form for us here on the YouTube channel as well.
It's going to be a bigger breakdown this week. 10 games on the breakdown this week. I'd really like a lot of the action. So, like Jay said, make sure that you check that out over at the YouTube channel.
Appreciate you, Chris, man. We'll check you out over on the premium side as well. Appreciate the work that you do, and we'll see you throughout the week, my man.
Thank you for having me, Jay. Appreciate it.
Sir. And we keep it rolling here on the College Football Show. And I got Brad Wins Bets with me. What's happening, Brad? How you doing this week?
Jay Briggs, I'm doing fantastic. I can't complain. This week's slate, not as good as last week's, but I think there's still a lot of great opportunities to cash in. And I'm looking for some redemption. I don't know if you remember last week, I took Arkansas, potentially the worst pick on the slate. That was bad. So we're looking to bounce back, and I got a play ready, cooked up, and it's going to smack.
Let's do it. Where are we headed to?
We are headed to Tuscaloosa, a rematch of probably the biggest upset last year with Vanderbilt and Alabama going at it. I feel like a lot of people are jumping back on this Alabama train. I feel like people are loving Alabama again, even after their week 1 loss. And yes, they've been playing much better. It seems like they figured something out. You beat Georgia last week, but a lot of people are thinking that they're just going to come into Tuscaloosa and, beat up on this Vanderbilt team. Not so fast. I'm going to take Vanderbilt. I'm going to take the points here. A lot of people say that, this is the game that Alabama has circled because Vanderbilt beat them last year. I don't think so. I think Alabama had last week's game circled. They played a hard-fought game against Georgia. Yes, they won. They looked great in that game. But now they got to go back home and play this Vanderbilt team that is no joke. I mean, what more does Vanderbilt have to show people that this is a legit team? I mean, beating South Carolina 31-7 at South Carolina, beating Virginia Tech at Virginia Tech 44-20. I know VT isn't great, but these are big wins here. And when you look at the most important position on the field, it's the quarterback position. And Diego Pavia is legit. He's played in a lot of big games, and he has no quit in him. It doesn't matter who he's playing. So I'm going to take this Vanderbilt team. I think this is a close competitive game. I'm not sure if Vanderbilt wins this one outright, but I wouldn't be surprised. So I'm going to take the 10.5 and take Diego Pavia and this Vanderbilt team.
I'm right there with you. I like the Vanderbilt. I like Vanderbilt this week as well. This has been a Vanderbilt program. Like, we've been on the Vanderbilt hype train. I had Georgia last week as my big play of the week. Shout out Alabama. They just have the number of Kirby Smart and those Georgia Bulldogs. Kirby should have kicked the field goal to tie the game up. Anyways, but Vandy, this is the first time Vandy and Alabama will have both been ranked heading into their matchup since 1967, I think I saw. College Game Day will be here for this one. Man, this is a different Vandy team, and I feel like you said, off the huge win for Alabama last week, I feel like this one, they might lay an egg, man. It wouldn't shock me whatsoever if Vandy beat them yet again. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Vandy, and I still think, even rolling into this game unbeaten, I still think they're slightly underrated and undervalued. I do. I like the Commodores as well.
Yeah, I think by the end of the season, people will start giving Vandy their respect. I mean, we have so much sample size of this team being a good ball club. And like I said, bro, you're going to give me the better quarterback and 10.5 points? Yeah, I'll take that all day.
Fair enough. Brad, man, what you got going on over at Pick Dawgz Premium this week?
Yep, I'm currently, while recording this, I'm in the process of getting all my college plays together. So I'm going to have 5 to 7 plays in college football. You can check that out. That's the best value if you just want one day of picks. But if you want my best bet, of course, I got my pick of the day. We're currently on a 7-day winning streak with the pick of the day. Friday's game is pending. We are recording this on Friday, but we are hot as hell with the pick of the day. Everything I'm touching right now just seems to hit. It's just one of those weeks. So if you want to join in on the hot streak, check it out. Team me up with Jay. Team me up with any of the guys on the side as well. Yeah, let's make some money this Saturday.
Bon, my guy Brad, continue to kick the crap out of the books. We appreciate having you on the show this week, Brad. We'll check out the NFL breakdown that you do. Mm-hmm. And, of course, you cover about half the videos every single day for us here on the YouTube channel as well. Appreciate you more than you know, my man.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, Jay.